Welcome back to Tennis Manager 25, episode 25. Let's get on. We're at that quarter century mark. We are in the World Cup group stage and are likely to lose. Even though we are the defending champions, we graduated our two best prospects in the U.S., at least in terms of their current ability. And so as we proceed on, this current group has plenty of potential but does not have a whole lot of current ability. But in this first singles match, we are leading in this first set 5-2 and look likely to claim it. And there it is. One set in the books. That's a good start for us. Let's see if we can get through. I did expect that Spain would be beating us here, but at 5-1, it looks like we're going to at least get one of the matches and two. 6-3, 6-2. And that brings us into the second match, the second singles match, where we trail early on but draw level there at 2-all and take the lead. A chance to break there. We do succeed in it, up 4-2. Oy. And we get there eventually across the line. That was a lot of back and forth in that game, but we do win the first set 6-3 in the end. Looking really good at this point to take the match, but losing this set, 4 games love. Yikes on that part. We do eventually get one, but it was a kind of a miracle win there. This set not going anywhere near as well as the first. So it comes down to a decisive third set, and we lose the first 3 games right out the box. Had a chance to break here, multiple chances, and to eventually get across the line and come back from 3 games love to 3 games all, and now 4 games all, 5 games 4. Both singles have gone our way, and we have beaten Spain officially, which means we are going to quickly be through the group stage. I did not expect to necessarily beat Spain, but we have done it. Let's go ahead and get our young player here, and this other one a chance. 2 stars is all they have for affinity. What about that one? 4 stars. Okay, we'll let that pairing go together then. Straight to the result on this one with the match itself already decided. We go 6-3, 6-3, sweeping Spain, which was very unexpected. That's going to put us up into the final match against Serbia of this group stage, and where Spain had all of their players in the top 40, none of the Serbians are in the top 100 of the junior ranks. This should be pretty easy, pretty straightforward. In fact, let's go ahead and take the more well-rested players for this one and just speed on through. Match 1 took a set loss, started a little slow, but then got things going. Match number 2 goes 7-5, 6-1, and we have secured number 1 in the group stage out of our grouping. And we wrap up the group stage with another victory, 6-3, 6-4, and in the end we go 8-1. In the 9 matches that we played. Spain does get back on top, going 2-1, so Spain goes through as well. And I do think that at least at this time they are better as a team than we are, but both teams look pretty strong. Both teams look like contenders for the World Cup itself. In Group B, Poland and China have gone through. In Group C, it's Romania and Italy, both in the top 5. And in Group D, France and Germany have gone through. Germany just edging out Switzerland, the number 11 team, getting left out, in Russia plummeting in the rankings from a very competitive place at other points in time. For the second straight time, Tanaway has missed getting an automatic qualifier. The last automatic qualifier was 989. We're just outside of top 1,000, but we actually, in this occasion, at least compared to the qualifying draw, had 3 players above us. I think I might need to switch her back over. It looks like we're still a little short of where we need to be to start qualifying automatically. Second round exit for Menicella in his next tournament. He's gone 6-7, 3-6, 46% of points won. Minus 11 on winners. We definitely need a little more technical skill. Switching back over to qualifiers has worked well for Tanaway, as right off the bat she has qualified for a tournament, but of course it's still going to take at least another win to get a point to move up the rankings that little bit further so that she can qualify automatically. Tanaway loses in the first round, though, so no points scored in this tournament. She will remain in the position she is, but Uni, meanwhile, is pushing on through a tournament. I have overloaded Uni's schedule to try to get her to the 20 matches. I fear that even with this massively overloaded end of season schedule, I think by my count she's only going to make it to 19 tournaments, even though she's going to end up winning about 16 of those, 15 of those this season. At the rate she's going, we've bumped her up to a higher level, and she just won her first higher level tournament. We'll see just how far that pushes her along. But Menachella, 1 week of technical training, gets forehand, topspin, and then natural fitness of all things. 16,800 is the share for the victory for Uni. That's fantastic. We're up to 358k. For Uni, she's up to 84th, but she's already tired. She's about to play another tournament. If she keeps winning, she's going to exhaust herself very quickly because we're playing tournaments like every week right now. This, I think, is her final week, though, of just regular training to allow some recovery, and then because it was too late to schedule that particular weekend, but we filled in all those other gaps. I don't think it's going to do us any good. I think I might have to accept the fact that I have, for the second year in a row, mistimed the number of tournaments necessary. Going once every 3 weeks doesn't get you enough tournaments over a 52-week period, especially when it's not actually a 52-week period, right? It's more like 46 or so. And then there's a couple World Cup weeks in there. So, well, 3, actually. There's qualifiers, group stage, and World Cup finals. So subtract those 3 out. And then subtract out about 4 to 5 weeks otherwise. Take out 7 to 8 weeks out of 52. So there's really only about 45 weeks. And we're supposed to get 20 tournaments. And 2 out of 4.5 is how often we have to play. Not 2 out of 6. We're going to have to change that up. Now, 2 out of 4 doesn't mean, like, it's almost every other week. You're going to have to 2-3, 2-3, 2-3, kind of back and forth if you're going to make it and get those bonuses. That's a good 250,000 we're going to miss out on because I did not keep them busy enough. Meanwhile, Menachella, he's a little upset. He's a little upset because, yes, he's made it to 30th, but he hasn't made it to the top 250. And I think at the time that he had his check-in, he was probably 31st. And so he had a partial evaluation here, while no evaluation there meant about a quarter evaluation on the satisfaction. And that made him pretty upset that he was a ways off his goals for the year. Uni out in the quarterfinals. That'll actually help her recover a little bit for another tournament for next week. But Tanaway also out in the first qualifying round of her tournament, will not score any points. Menachella, not an easy draw here. Even the first round's going to be tough. Second round faces the 1 seed if we get there, potentially. We are the outsider for this one. Can Menachella at least get through the first round? He just does. Very close in all 3 sets. We end up taking 52% of the points. We were beaten in the serve, but Winners finally comes out ahead. On Forced Errors was behind, but only by 10. Forced Errors was ahead by 1. So a fairly comfortable plus 16 on Winners being the difference today. And Uni competing in back-to-back weeks, that's going to be an important one on just how far can she go. We do play the 1 seed on this. Not going to be easy. We are outsider, though we've beaten Matsumura twice from 2 times. Perfect. Not now. We dropped this one in 3 sets, beaten in service. Slight advantage in Winners, plus 7. On Forced Errors was minus 5, though. Forced Errors is where we were beaten fairly comfortably at minus 12. Meanwhile, Uni's gone into that late stage. Once again, she's won her semifinal quite comfortably, actually. She's lost the final, though. Still a good overall result. She should be pretty happy with that one, but she's going to head straight into another tournament. This time, that hurt her morale. That hurt her form. Oh, come on. And she's wiped out on top of it. She jumps to 73rd in the rankings. I'm not happy with how high she suddenly is in the rankings. There's a lot more points for these tournaments. Starting at just 60% on the fitness level. It's going to be a rough week for Uni, but she has at least won her first 2 matches and comfortably, but the quarterfinal did go to 3 sets. Olsen, as an analyst, we already tried to replace earlier this season, but it didn't work out, and then I forgot to come back and find somebody new. So we're going to have to hold off and then replace Olsen here off season, or I'll try now, possibly. But the other with an expiring contract is Shep. Shep is our backup physical trainer. We're going to need Shep with the addition of new athletes on roster. In fact, we're going to need to hire a few staff members to make that work. So for Shep, we do want to negotiate. They are super happy. Do I want force? Yeah, it's level 4. That we can keep them around for a while, but we can afford to tick down at least a couple of ticks on this one, and they're still green. There we go. Shep, contract signed. Olsen, no contract coming. All right, so we have found somebody willing to sign. Is that the same one as last time? I'm not sure it is. I don't think it is, because I believe I had to go a little further down the list to find somebody, but it is a level 4 experience level for this analyst, and with a couple upticks we went from very, very low on the patience to pretty good chance of getting them signed. Meanwhile, in selecting my 5 players for the finals, it's the same 5 that we had previously. They are the only 5 at 2 stars. They have the better quality, they belong there. But I wanted to check in on how Menachella is doing. At 16, there's a couple 16-year-olds ahead of him. Eric Tien seems to have a little bit of an advantage as a stronger player currently. There's one 15-year-old in Sam Kingsley who is way up the ranks. But otherwise, that's it. Everybody else is 17 or 18 already. So Menachella is going to be moving into the highest levels of at least his age group, the way he has progressed. So he's moved up from kind of rock bottom, lower end of academy to already being quite good. Looking pretty good on that front, but how quickly can we get him to 2 stars? And knowing that we have 3 guys ready to graduate, can Menachella make it into the top 5 for next season? So we do have a contract, but we are going to have to clear the space to make it work. Uni, her tournament win, that was a 100 level. That was like 5th tier, 22,000. Great payout. A lot of points though. That's a little worrying about where it's going to put her goals for next year. All right, we only have room for 1 analyst. So with the contract set to expire in just 27 days, this should... Wow, that is an expensive severance cost for somebody who's only making $1,600 a month. I'll do it though. Just get it done. We have somebody to hire. Let's bring them in. Menachella's rank only inched up just a little bit, but it's been just enough that he comes into this tournament seeded for the first time this year. Is that going to be enough to push him towards the quarterfinal? I would certainly hope so. He's 1-0 against this player and slightly the favorite, but he's out in the first round, losing in a tiebreaker on the last set after splitting wins by 2 games. He lost the first, won the second, 4-6, 6-4. We end up minus 6 points overall. We do win the battle of service, but we were minus 29 in winners. The unforced errors kept us in it a little bit better, but it's not like we were clean at minus 21 or plus 21, but we weren't clean with 29 errors ourselves, and minus 4 on the forced errors also didn't do us much in terms of favors. So first round exit, we finally get seeded, and then we're out in the first round. Uni, the ultimate fatigue finally kicks in. She loses in the second round of this latest tournament. Tanawave in a first round exit for her. So again, very close, but still no points. Uni's form plummets from excellent to weak, and so she turns around and loses in the second round. Now, yes, she's still fatigued, but because she lost once early, she goes from all form to no form. Just like that, 1 loss in a really high level tournament, the highest level tournament that she's played in all year. Tanaway has qualified for another tournament though, another opportunity to score some points for her and at least make some progress. Meanwhile, Menachella gets maybe his 4th technical training week of the season. Drop shot goes up to a 6, timing goes up to a 7. Yeah, that was a 100 level tournament, and it plummeted further. It plummeted further. Her form is now mediocre. Ooh, Uni's at 19 and has a tournament scheduled. So it looks like I might actually get 1 there. Menachella's Tanaway's made it to 16, as has Menachella. but we're about to wrap up the season. It's mid-November. I think this is our final week. I do think Benicella is done. So Uni and Tanaway has won in the first round. So right at the end of the season, she's going to finally score enough points to qualify properly for a tournament with the quarterfinal. This is definitely going to do it. But then she's going to roll into next year with some retirements, and it probably would have happened anyway. She's out in the semifinal. Uni, I think, was out in the quarterfinal, I believe. And I have leveled up. We're now at level 6. I have 12 attribute points. That's not a lot. Let's bring the backhand up. 5 points left. I'm going to put 2 into negotiation. And we'll put the other 3 into return. Overall, the Academy's still at 2 stars. But we have made progress. Team is now 2.5 stars. Training is now 2.5 stars. Scouting still lingering behind a little bit at 1.5, while we have 2 and 2 for medical and business, and 4.5 for the talent zone. I believe that's been out of 4. I believe, but maybe not. We're 1 star still behind the next one, but I think we're getting awfully close to that 2.5 star range. That scouting, youth and scouting center, needs some investment, but we've got 500,000, and we're a couple weeks away from getting an investment of at least 300. Maybe close to 4, maybe a turn of the month. I think we can maybe get about 900K, which means there's some really big mega investments that come with big returns at that 900K mark. But as we push into the World Cup week, form is not the greatest, but fitness level is pretty good. Tompkins is the one who's a bit off on form, but we have all 5 of them having competed at the senior level now, and as always, put 1 point across the board. Team chemistry is excellent, so we don't need any extra points there. I don't think we need extra points into the physical recovery per se. I think we do need 1 point to help with form. That gives me 5 more, so we can go 3 into single. Oh no, we can't. 2 into singles matches and 1 into the doubles matches. Am I okay with just dumping 1 point into physical? No, I would like to push somebody's form up. Form's going to make a big difference on whether they win or not, maybe more so than focusing on those singles and doubles. And here is the bracket. It's going to be Germany first, 1v6. Poland and Italy, Spain and Romania, China and France. China the only non-top 10 team in the 8 that have qualified here for the quarterfinal. Germany, not bad, but definitely not as good as Spain. Not even close to as good as Spain. All of the Spanish players were in the top, 39? The highest ranked player for Germany is 48th. 48, 68, 94, and 2 players outside the 200. All right, we have seen a boost in form for Tompkins. It's now good, and Dassault, it's excellent. We're at 100%. Double pairing have improved by +2 stars. There was definitely 1 doubles pairing last time around that was not good at all. Couple, really, that weren't very good. So that should help us significantly in that preparation. I think our team's going to be very capable of at least getting through the quarterfinal. Their top 2 players, also senior level and lower ranked than all of ours. Both of them outside of the top 1,700, so very little senior level experience. I think we are pretty firmly favorites here. We've got morale down for 1 player, but form is up for everybody, at least fairly good. Physical fitness is perfect as we begin. Let's go ahead and take our top 2 guys into those singles and see if they can push us through. This is Germany's number 1, and we don't even give up a point in the first game, but they do split us. And we dropped to 1-2, now 1-3. We're going to have to battle from behind, down 3 games 4. Still not able to overcome. Everybody's been holding serve except for that 1 game that we gave up, and we end up losing the first set while coming out and crushing him in set number 2. Barely giving up any points here. Looked like we were about to go 5-1, but they battled back and make it 3 straight. Oh my goodness, we barely came out with set number 2 after dominating early on. This is not going the way you would hope. 2-1 though. 2-all. 3-2. About to jump into this thing the way it's going. Now 4-2. 5-2. We got this. Right. Sheldon. Not Sheldon Cooper, but Sheldon struggling early on, just squeaking out the victory. Found that Santosh, our number 2 guy, is carrying some discomfort. It's going to make him perform a little bit less well. And while we are playing our number 2 guy, so is Germany. Up to Opitz. Opitz is giving us a bit of a challenge, but we do take the first set. Battling back in set 2 after losing the first couple of games. Come on. Oh, we snuck through and got that one. Up 4-3, though. 5-4. We break him to win the set and go 6-4, 6-4. And that is us into the semifinals of the World Cup. I do not think this is the kind of year that the U.S. is going to win it. But we're going to go ahead and halt this episode right there with the semifinals coming and Poland next ahead of us. Their best player, 46th. 3 of their players well outside of the top 100. We are definitely stronger than Poland. We've got a good chance to move on to the final. Wouldn't be surprised at all if we're going to see Spain there. Spain has beaten Romania 2-1. Poland beat Italy 2-1. Italy was the number 3 team, so they've been knocked off. But France at 2-0 over China. That's the most lopsided. Really, we should have been the ones playing against China in that first round, but it is what it is. So a final with France or Spain looms, where I would think in either case they will probably be the favorite. A finals loss, not a bad year for us. Very much a rebuilding year with no dominant players at all. But we've still got 5 good players, and we'll have 5 good players next year as well. And I'm hoping that Menechella is going to develop at such a rate that he will easily be in the 5 next year. But just how good will he be? Probably not that great. We'll have Sheldon, we'll have Hans for next year. Sheldon, perfect 4-0, though he made that very close on us in that last one. Poland looks like a beatable team. We'll find out, though, how we fare next time. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.